All right, today what we're going to be talking about are a couple things. We're going to be talking about the midsegment theorem, and we're also going to be talking about parallel lines and transversals. So let's get started with the midsegment theorem. So the midsegment theorem is a midsegment of a triangle that connects the midpoints to the two sides of the triangle. Every triangle has three midsegments. The segment connecting the midpoints of two of the sides is parallel to the third side, and the length that is half of the third side. So if we were to look at this side, this point is the midpoint because those two are congruent. If we're to look on this side, this point is the midpoint because it shows these two are congruent. So what that means is your midsegment is right here, and this line is parallel to that line. So across from it, so the side that doesn't have the midpoint connected to it. So when you're looking at this, DE is parallel to AC because we're equidistant from each other. So if you need to solve anything, I know that DE is half of AC. Or you need two DEs to equal one AC. So make sure you get that down. And then let's go ahead and let's try this. So I showed you both ways. And it's telling you right now, DE is a midsegment. So that means this is congruent to that, and that is congruent to that. So if we know it's the midsegment, you can solve it two different ways. You can say this is equal to 1/2 of that. So if you were to put that in there, it's x is 1/2 34 and x equals 17. So that's one way to solve it. Or here's how I usually like to think about it, but again, you do whichever way works for you. I know I'm going to need two of those to equal one of those. So I've got 2x equals 34. And you get the same answer either way. So it just depends on how you're looking at it. So what you're going to do is you're going to try this one and this one. And I don't care if you do it this way or if you do that way, whichever way works for you, as long as you understand you need two of the smaller segments to equal the one that is parallel to it. All right, so now let's start solving some things. So let's look here. I know this is the midsegment of this side, because those are equal. I know, or midpoint, excuse me. I know this is the midpoint of this side. So that means this is the midsegment right here. This is going to be parallel to that side because it's the third side that doesn't have the midpoint or the midsegment attached to it. So again, you can do whichever way you choose, but I know I need two of the small segments to equal, of the midsegments to equal one of the longer parallel. So go ahead, 2x equals 3x minus 12. And when you solve that, you get x equals 12. All right, I want you to go ahead and try those. And now this is, again, a lot of vocab. It's just a lot of remembering what is what. This should be a review, but I know it's been a little while since you've done this. All right, so parallel lines and transversals. So we're going to keep talking about parallel lines and angles formed by parallel lines and transversals. So a transversal is a line that cuts across and intersects parallel lines. So this is your transversal, and these are your parallel lines. Now, what's important is it forms special angle pairs that are either congruent or supplementary. So all of these are the angles it forms when you have transversal intersect parallel lines. So some of the vocab you need to know. Corresponding angles. Corresponding means same side of the transversal, and one's on the inside, one's on the outside. So here's how I remember it. Same side, different line. So these are both on the right of the transversal, and they're both on top of the respective line. These are also corresponding. These are corresponding. and these are corresponding. Same spot, different line. If you were to take an escalator and slide your line down the transversal, this will land directly on top of that. So I gave you some examples of the angles. Make sure you're writing those down. So if you look up here, angle 1, angle 5 are congruent because same spot, different line. Angle 3 is congruent to 7, and angle 2, 6, and 4, and 8. So make sure you write those down. The next one are alternate interior. So they are congruent angles, but they're opposite sides. So that's where the alternate and the opposite comes in. So they're alternate sides of the transversal, and interior means they're inside the parallel lines. So 3 and 6 are inside the parallel line. Think of your parallel lines as like a river. So this would be interior. All right. So 3, opposite of that would be 6. If you have 4, the opposite of 4 is 5. So that makes your alternate interior. And just like that, the alternate exterior is whatever is outside the parallel lines. And alternate means opposite sides of the transversal. So they are congruent. So 1 and 8 are alternate exterior. 2 and 7 are also alternate exterior. All right, vertical angles. They're congruent and they're formed by only one parallel line and transversal. So they're opposite any intersection. So if you're to look up here, 1 and 4 are vertical, 2 and 3 are vertical, 5 and 8 because they're across from each other, and then 7 and 6 are vertical. All right, now we get into, so all of these were all congruent. Okay, now we're going to get into supplementary. Supplementary means 180 degrees. So if you were to have same side consecutive interior, that means the same side of the transversal inside the parallel line. So if you were to look up here, 3 and 5, same side of the transversal inside the parallel lines. And the other set would be 4 and 6. Now those are supplementary. So you have to add this plus this to equal 180. All right. And the other one is same side consecutive exterior, which is also supplementary. So they're outside the parallel lines. Same side, outside, they are also supplementary. So if we were to go up here, you'd have 1 and 7, which are supplementary. So you add those equal 180. And then you also have 2 and 8, which are supplementary. So you go ahead and you add those together equal 180. So if you were to look here, if we need to find the variable or missing angle in this, well, right away, I know we have to find x. So we have to use 75 to help find x. And we can do that because those are same side interior or consecutive interior. And so we're going to go this plus this, because they're supplementary, equals 180. And when you solve that, you get x equals 23. Now, to find the measure of that, you have to substitute in 23, and you'll get 105 degrees. So this angle is 105 degrees, which makes sense because if you had 75, this plus that equals 180. All right, but now we got to find this side. So we're going to take the 105 over here, and I know these two are vertical. And we know vertical are congruent. So I know that 105 is equal to 10y minus 25. And then solve that and get y equals 13. All right, go ahead, try that one. And here, this is kind of similar to the other ones. I'm just showing you the different. So remember, alternate interior are congruent. So this one and this one are going to be congruent. So you equal them. Then once you get x, plug it in here, and then these two are corresponding, which are also congruent. So you have to find x, substitute it in here, figure the measure of that angle, and then you can find y. So go ahead and try that one on your own. I want you to try this one on your own and this one on your own. I do want to show you this one, because if you look on your copy, you only have this shape. What I did is notice these sides are parallel, the opposite sides are parallel. So I actually extended the lines to make parallel lines. And I'm using this side right here to make a transversal. And when we do that, we have two angles right there. So now if you notice, same side, and they're inside the parallel line, so we can say x plus 40 plus x equals 180 degrees. And that's going to, once you solve it, give you 70. So just look for those things, and I want you to go ahead and try these. And lastly, here's a little trick to help you if they are congruent or if they're supplementary. Go ahead on your paper. I want you to draw this parallel line and then draw the transversal. But here's the little trick, or here's what's going to help you. You're going to label the intersection, so you should have 4 angles. I like to use A, B. I don't care what you use, but just make sure the A's, the letters, you don't have the two same letters next to each other. It needs to alternate. A, B, A, B. And whatever you do here, you're going to do the same exact thing here. So when you're looking at this, you're going to notice that if you have the same letter, your angles are going to be congruent. Right? If you were to have angle B and angle B, like this and this, those are going to be congruent. Now, if you have different letters, they're going to equal them to 180. So if you're just asked to solve, you can draw your own parallel line, and it doesn't matter which way the transversal goes, as long as you have alternating letters or whatever symbols you're using. So that way you know if it's the same letter, these are congruent, or if it's supplementary, like that. So here, this and that, those are equal to 180 because they're different letters. So go ahead, make sure you write this down on your paper as just something to help you remember. And then that is your parallel lines transversal and your mid-segment theorem.